This is Lorry Rifkin from Clarity Management and Lori Highby from Keystone Click. We're here today to continue our series of how do you retool your business for the post-virus environment. And today's topic is your website up to snuff for what you need to do to get new business coming in and get your existing business supercharged post-virus? And so we have some questions for Lori. And Lori is a website marketing expert, so her answers would be very important. I would take notes so you can implement what she says. So Lori, our first question is, how is website traffic right now for most of your customers?
It's a good question, Lori. Thanks for asking. I'm excited to be here today too to talk about websites. So the answer right now is that it depends. It really depends on what industry you're in specifically. For example, e-commerce sites that are selling high demand essential items have high traffic right now. And anything kind of related to the work from home or staying at home. So looking for office chairs, there's a high search volume in that. Working out at home has some high search volumes. Even things related to the phrase like curbside deliveries or curbside pickups has a significant increase in search volume. So if your business offers anything of those sorts, make sure that your site is optimized for that. Obviously, some of those non-essential areas such as makeup or travel have some droppage within website traffic.
Okay, that's a great answer. So what are some best practices I could put in place for my website to make sure it does generate business going forward? Because we might have a slow recovery out in the brick and mortar world. So people are depending more and more on their website to generate business and help them. So what would you say are some best practices?
Yeah, that's a great question. And this is a really good time to actually do some of the finessing and polishing up of your website. So regardless of the industry that you're in, we've always practiced what I refer to as the billboard test. And just like driving down the freeway, you know, a billboard basically has 7 seconds to capture your attention because you're driving past it, but also it has to be easy for you to understand that message is being communicated. So we have 3 questions that we ask ourselves whenever we're looking at a potential new client's website or any website for that matter. The first one being, is it clear and obvious what it is that you're offering? Ultimately, are you answering the question that you can solve the problem that I have right now or that I'm looking for? The second thing then is, what proof do you have that you can actually do this? So proof could be in the form of a testimonial, any sort of accreditation or affiliation with an organization that's respected in your industry. And the last thing is, what do you want me to do next? So oftentimes I find that websites are lacking any sort of good call to action.
Well, that was, you stole my thunder. That was my next question. What are some good call to action steps that people can implement on their website?
Good question. And you know, actually what I found really interesting while I was kind of doing some research on this not too long ago is that 72% of businesses do not have a call to action on their interior pages. So a call to action can be a number of things. It can be as simple as a contact form, request a quote, sign up for our newsletter, download this white paper. It could be, hey, follow us on social media, or here's our phone number, give us a call, initiate some sort of a live chat conversation. Basically, every single page on your website has to tell the site visitor what it is you want them to do next.
Along that line, would you recommend putting a special COVID page on your website? I did that on my website, for example, for people to fill in a box if they need help doing some of the SBA loans, because that's pertinent right now. What would you say about doing that as a call to action?
Absolutely. I think that, for example, on the homepage of our site, and you can do this as a banner on all of your pages, it's just communicating how you're functioning right now. So saying, you know, this is, we're working remotely, but you can get a hold of us by calling this number or sending us an email at this email address. Or if you need some help related to these specific things, you know, yeah, any sort of call to action is going to be better than, you know, the last thing you want is someone visiting your site going, hey, I'm interested, but I don't know how to get a hold of you.
I'll give a great example. I went to order from a restaurant for takeout and went to their website and called the number. It says they're open. No one answers the phone multiple times. If they would have had a note on there saying, due to high volume, keep on trying, I would have known that they're really there, but they didn't have anything like that on their website.
Mm-hmm.
A prime example.
Yeah, communication is vital right now.
So how important are images on my website?
Great question. Images are it's the eye candy to your site. So content is extremely important, obviously, to help you get found in the search engines. You want really good, heavy text. But what's more important is that you have a visual story to tell. So the quality of if you've got products, you need professional photography done for those products because it's showcasing the level of professionalism and the quality of your products. If you have not so sexy pictures, basically, you're not saying that you take pride in your product. But if you have a service, you still need some sort of visual. So you can kind of have an image that showcases your product, your service offering, or the process. That's what I was looking for. And how, the workflow, what someone can expect working with you. So infographic or a video are great ways to add some visual eye candy on your website.
That's great advice, and I would add this to that. I would go to my competitors' websites, see what visuals they have and what videos they have, and I'd want to do it one step better so people go to my site and see we do it a little bit better.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to take a look at what your competition is doing.
Okay, let's talk about navigation and navigating a website. Any tips on that?
Yes, I see a lot of people that want everything they offer in that main navigation across the top, and that is a big mistake. So just like we were talking about the call to action, you want to make it easy for that site visitor to know what to do next and to find what it is they're looking for. So the more options you have in your main navigation, the more confusing you're making it for that site visitor to figure out where it is you have to go. The other thing that I'd recommend steering clear of, even though I see a lot of companies want to do this, is trying to be cutesy and clever with the naming of your main navigation. You don't want to confuse people, and you don't want them to have to think about what it is that they're looking for. You want to make it easy for them to know, this is my service offering. These are our product offerings. These are resources. This is how you get a hold of me. Make it simple for them to navigate your site. If you want to add some bigger links and you have lots of information to share, that footer and having a big footer, that's something that I'm a fan of. That's at the bottom of your page.
Great advice, Lori. And so what can I do to drive more traffic to my website? Because it's number of eyeballs and getting a percentage of them to convert into sales. What could you do or advise your clients to drive more traffic?
That's the question of the day, isn't it? Everyone wants more traffic to their site. I'm going to keep preaching this, is you have to continue to add quality content and resources on your site. You need to offer a reason for someone to want to come back. You want to make your site a destination. And that's why I'm a huge advocate of blogging or creating content such as podcasts or videos, something that lives on your site. Another thing that you should do is make sure they're taking advantage of the tools that are made to you for free, especially by Google. Google My Business is a fantastic tool, and as long as you optimize that, you're telling Google, this is the type of information I have on my website, and this is how people can get to it. So you're making it easier for Google to index you in their search engines then. Same thing with other channels. So post the content that you're creating, those valuable resources, on your social media channels. Those are including links pushing back to your website.
Comprehensive strategy.
Absolutely. Paid is a way to help drive traffic. So any sort of buying ads on Google or of some of the other social media channels can be just as effective. And one thing that I think a lot of people don't take the time to do is finding ways to get published on other high traffic websites by either being interviewed or contributing content as a guest blogger or a guest publisher. I actually had a client who had a couple articles published on Forbes.com, and his website address was in the signature, basically saying about the author, and it went back to his site. And actually 50% of his website traffic came from just that small handful of Forbes articles that were published.
Great advice, great advice. So I do all these tips and tricks that you just mentioned. How do I know my website is working?
Well, that's the thing, right? So like anything you're doing, you have to have a goal. You have to know, what does success look like, And what is it that you're trying to achieve? You know, don't just have a website just to have a website. Is it indeed to generate new business? Is it to support your current customers by educating them? Is it just to be a storytelling platform? Whatever it is, make sure that the call to actions that you have on your site are aligning with the goals that you have, that you've mapped out and defined. The other thing that's really important is to make sure you do have some sort of analytics tool on your site. Most popular and free tool is Google Analytics. Then you can see the type of visitors as far as where they came from, how long they stayed there, what pages they've actually visited on your site. And within Google Analytics and most other analytic tools, you can set any sort of goals or conversion. So you can track, okay, this person visited this page and then they filled out my contact form. And then within whatever other systems or tools you have, you can keep track of, okay, this, 100 people visited my site, 10 of them filled out my contact form, 1 of them converted to a client. So you've got your sales funnel kind of mapped out.
Great advice.
Yeah, thanks.
Great advice. Any final tips that you would share with the people out there, especially because a lot of people are in a rebuilding mode, their business has been decimated. They need to ramp up fast because they have a lot of expenses right now and very little revenue. Any final tips that you would share?
Yeah, I'd say now is a really good time to invest your time and energy into building quality content on your site and cleaning up some of the things that we talked about with regards to your navigation, having strong call to actions throughout the site, having nice visual storytelling images that are going to pull people in. And really focusing on your expertise. You don't need to add fluff, just focus on what it is that your strong skill sets are, and then the people are going to start coming to your site.
Great advice, great advice. Well, that concludes another one of our Lunch and Learn with Lori and Lori. We'll have some more episodes coming up in the coming weeks to help you deal and rebuild your business in the post-virus world. Thank you for watching us.
Thanks a lot.